The greatest paradox of attraction lies in the truth that the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop seeking, is the very moment you become irresistible. Detachment is not about being cold or indifferent. It is about standing so firmly in your own identity that nothing outside of you can shake it. When a man is desperate for approval, when he is constantly measuring his worth based on the reactions of a woman, he becomes predictable, transparent, and ordinary. Yet when a man detaches from the need for validation, something powerful shifts. His energy changes. His presence commands attention without a single word. Women are drawn to him not because he is trying, but precisely because he is not. Detachment creates mystery, and mystery creates magnetism. Think of the man who walks into a room and does not feel the urge to impress anyone. He does not scan the room hoping for recognition or approval. He simply exists, fully grounded in his own value. Others sense it immediately. His aura speaks louder than words. Detachment removes the stench of desperation that so many men unconsciously carry. Women instinctively recoil from neediness, but they lean in when they feel the calm assurance of a man who is whole without them. The truth is that people want what they cannot easily have, and detachment is the clearest signal that you are not up for grabs to just anyone. Detachment is not about ignoring women or pretending not to care. It is a much deeper discipline. It is about living from the inside out, not the outside in. Instead of waiting for someone else to crown you worthy, you recognize that worth is already present within you. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are choosing yourself every single day. That mindset is electric. It creates a gravitational pull. Women sense that you are a man who will not crumble under pressure, a man who's not afraid of being alone, a man who does not place his happiness in someone else's pocket. This is why they chase. The psychology of attraction reveals that uncertainty fuels desire. When a woman cannot quite predict you, when she cannot fully grasp your intentions, her mind begins to work overtime. She wonders, she questions, she imagines. But when a man is overly eager, when he is always available, when he constantly reassures her of his feelings, there is no tension, no spark, no room for her imagination to breathe. Detachment, however, creates a field of intrigue. It is the space between what you give and what you hold back that draw stripper. You offer enough presence to be felt, but enough distance to be wondered about. That balance is what ignites pursuit. Detachment also protects you from the emotional roller coaster. That destroys so many men. The highs of attention and the lows of indifference no longer dictate your self-image. When she texts, you are the same. When she doesn't text, you are the same. When she praises you, you are the same. When she criticizes you, you are the same. That consistency is intoxicating. It makes you untouchable, unshackable. Women test men constantly to see whether they will break under emotional pressure. The man who is detached does not flinch. He responds with calm, measured energy, and that very steadiness makes him the one she cannot forget. There is a deeper spiritual truth at play here. Detachment is rooted in abundance. The man who is detached knows that he is not defined by one woman's acceptance or rejection. He knows that opportunities are endless. He knows that the universe responds to his vibration, and that his energy is the source of his attraction. Because he does not cling to any single outcome, he becomes open to infinite possibilities. Ironically, this very openness makes him more desirable. Scarcity creates neediness. Abundance creates power. The man who operates from abundance is the one who commands respect without asking for it. Detachment does not kill intimacy, it fuels it. Women long to connect with a man who is not desperate for connection. They want to feel the depth of a man who chooses them, not because he needs them, but because he desires them. That distinction changes everything. When you detach, your presence becomes a gift, not a request. Every interaction is elevated because she feels your freedom. You are with her not because you have to be, but because you choose to be. That choice holds far more weight than obligation. The essence of detachment is self-mastery. It is the refusal to let emotions, opinions, or external circumstances control your sense of self. It is the discipline to remain centered even when storms swirl around you. When a man lives in that state, he becomes a rock in a world full of shifting sands. Women crave that kind of stability because it allows them to relax into their feminine energy. They chase not just the man, but the feeling he creates, the safety, the mystery, the challenge, the strength. And all of it stems from detachment, from the quiet confidence that says, I am enough as I am, whether you stay or go. Scarcity has always been the hidden law of desire, the invisible force that shapes value in every arena of life. What is rare is coveted. What is abundant is ignored. This truth does not only apply to gold, diamonds, or works of art. It applies to human behavior and relationships. A man who makes himself too available, who answers every call immediately, who adjusts his entire schedule at the snap of a finger, unconsciously signals that he has nothing else of higher priority. That kind of availability kills intrigue. It tells her that she does not need to earn your time or effort because it is already guaranteed. On the other hand, a man who understands scarcity knows that his attention, his energy, his presence are valuable currencies. He does not hand them out freely. He gives them sparingly with intention, and that measured discipline multiplies their worth in the eyes of others. Imagine two scenarios. In the first, a man is always waiting for her, always ready to meet, always eager to respond. His eagerness is transparent, and while she may enjoy the validation at first, it quickly becomes routine, predictable, and ordinary. There is no sense of challenge, no sense of accomplishment in earning his time. In the second scenario, a man is focused on his path, his goals, his growth. He is not sitting around waiting for anyone. He communicates with clarity and warmth, but he does not revolve his world around her. His time is already filled with purpose. So when he offers her a piece of it, it feels significant. That is scarcity at work. The less she feels entitled to his attention, the more she values it when it is given. The human mind is wired to crave what it cannot easily have. When something feels too accessible, loses its shine. A man who understands this does not try to suffocate with presence. He creates space. He allows moments of absence to work in his favor. Those gaps where he is not around, not calling, not texting, are the very spaces where her imagination begins to fill the void. She wonders what he is doing, who he is with, why he is not chasing. That curiosity fuels attraction. By not being constantly available, he creates demand, and demand always increases value. Scarcity is not about playing childish games or deliberately withholding affection to manipulate. It is about alignment with your own priorities. A man with a strong sense of direction knows that his mission comes first. He does not abandon his discipline or his commitments just to impress someone. This refusal to overextend sends a powerful message. His time is precious. He guards it carefully, and only those who truly align with his vision will gain access to it. That mindset is deeply attractive because it demonstrates strength, independence, and self-respect. Consider how luxury brands maintain their value. They do not flood the market with endless supply. They create exclusivity, limit availability, and as a result, demand skyrockets. People are willing to pay extraordinary prices, not because the product is inherently worth it, but because scarcity amplifies its perceived value. The same principle applies in relationships. If you are constantly giving, constantly available, constantly chasing, you strip away the perception of rarity. But when you hold back, when you live with balance, when you invest in yourself as much as in others, you create that luxury effect. Your presence becomes a privilege, not a guarantee. The psychology of scarcity also sharpens the emotions attached to you. When she cannot easily predict when she will see you or hear from you, every interaction carries greater weight. The moments together are magnified because they are not guaranteed. Absence intensifies appreciation. Space allows desire to grow. The man who understands this does not fear distance. He knows distance builds longing. He does not feel the need to fill every silence. He allows silence to work in his favor. That quiet restraint whispers confidence, and confidence is irresistible. The deeper truth is that scarcity is rooted in self-control. It is the discipline to not give everything at once, the patience to let things unfold at their own pace, the wisdom to recognize that what is easily attained is rarely deeply valued. A man who is scarce in the right way does not chase approval because he is already grounded in his own worth. He knows that the world is full of options, and because he lives from that abundance, he never acts from desperation. This calm detachment is what sets him apart. He knows that his energy is the prize, and not everyone deserves access to it. Scarcity also shifts the balance of power. The one who is less available always holds a stronger position because the other is forced to move, adapt, and adjust in response. Women instinctively chase men who embody this principle, not because they enjoy the chase itself, but because scarcity signals high value. It creates a subconscious recognition that this man is not ordinary, that his time is not cheap, that being close to him is a reward, not a right. The moment you understand this, you stop giving your presence freely and begin offering it with purpose. That change in behavior alters the dynamic completely, turning you into the pursued rather than the pursuer. Attraction is never random. It is always framed by the invisible dynamics of power that unfold in every interaction. Whoever sets the frame sets the rules, and whoever sets the rules controls the game. A man who does not consciously establish the frame of an interaction automatically falls into someone else's, and in doing so, he gives away his authority without even realizing it. The frame is the lens through which reality is experienced in that moment. It defines what is acceptable, what is playful, what is serious, what is attractive, what is not. If you do not create it, she will. And once she does, you are already at a disadvantage. Attraction is not about what is said on the surface. It is about who defines the underlying context. Think of a man who walks into a conversation with a woman and immediately begins to prove himself, trying to convince her of his worth, hoping she will like him. He has unconsciously stepped into her frame. one in which she is the prize and he is the applicant. The balance of power shifts instantly. Contrast this with a man who enters the same situation grounded, calm, and in control of his own energy. He does not try to win approval. Instead, he assumes that his presence already has value, and he invites her into his world rather than begging to enter hers. This is the difference between being reactive and proactive, between being the one who chases and the one who is chased. The frame extends beyond words. It is embedded in tone, body language, pacing, and energy. When a man is anxious, rushing to fill silence, apologizing unnecessarily, he signals weakness in his frame. But when he speaks slowly, holds eye contact, allows pauses to linger, and stays calm under pressure, he demonstrates control of the space. Women sense this instantly. They test frames constantly, often without even realizing it, to see if a man will hold his ground or crumble. The man who holds the frame is not rattled by a sarcastic comment, a delayed response, or a subtle pushback. Instead, he embraces it with composure, sometimes even turning it into play. This ability to hold and redefine the frame makes him magnetic because it signals strength and leadership. Attraction is psychological warfare in the sense that it is a constant dance of influence. The stronger frame always wins, not through aggression, but through certainty. The man who decides the pace of interaction, who subtly guides where the conversation goes, who determines whether the energy is serious, playful, or mysterious, is the one she follows. She may push against it, but if the frame is solid, she respects it, she begins to adapt to it. Without even realizing, she starts to operate inside the reality he created. That is when the chase begins, because she feels herself pulled into his world. Holding the frame does not mean being rigid or domineering. True control of the frame is flexible, adaptive, and creative. It is about being unshakable, not immovable. When you hold the frame correctly, you are not forcing her to see things your way. You are inviting her into a reality that is more compelling than her own. People naturally follow certainty, and the man with the strongest frame radiates certainty. He knows who he is, what he stands for, and what he will and will not tolerate. He does not explain himself endlessly, nor does he justify his choices. His life is already in motion, and she can join if she wishes, but the journey continues with or without her. The power of framing also extends to emotional dynamics. If you position yourself as a man who is easily shaken by rejection, you are living in a frame where she has all the control. But if you position yourself as someone who views rejection as irrelevant, as nothing more than redirection, you keep the frame. If you position interactions as playful exchanges rather than serious tests of self-worth, you keep the frame. The one who decides the meaning of the moment owns the moment, and the one who owns the moment controls the attraction. This is why women are drawn to leaders, visionaries, and men who live with direction. These men carry their own frame into every situation, and it is so strong that others naturally align with it. When a woman encounters a man like this, she senses that he cannot be swayed easily, that he will not be bent by the wind of every opinion. That security allows her to relax, to step into her feminine energy, to surrender to the chase. She pursues not only the man, but the stability of his frame, the clarity of his direction, the strength of his influence. Even in silence, the frame speaks. A man who is comfortable saying nothing for a moment holds the frame because he is not scrambling to impress. He allows her to fill the space if she chooses, but he does not feel compelled. That confidence communicates power more than 1,000 words ever could. Framing is about energy first and language second. And when energy is grounded, language follows naturally. A man who holds the frame knows that the game is never about chasing approval. It is about leading with certainty. Women will always chase the frame that makes them feel both challenged and safe. And when you learn to set it and hold it, you never again find yourself in the position of proving your worth. Attraction has very little to do with logic and almost everything to do with emotion. Human beings may like to believe they make rational decisions, but in reality, the heart moves first and the mind follows after, trying to justify what has already been felt. This is why emotion is the greatest leverage point in attraction. If you can influence how a woman feels when she is around you, you will live in her thoughts long after you leave her presence. Words may be forgotten, appearances may fade, but feelings linger. People may not remember exactly what was said, but they will always remember how they felt in someone's company. That truth gives power to the man who learns to master emotional influence. When a man relies on logic to connect, he speaks to the surface, offering facts, explanations, and rational statements. While there is nothing wrong with intelligence, it does not ignite desire. A man can list his accomplishments, his plans, his resources, but none of it stirs the deeper emotions that drive attraction. Emotion is awakened by tone, by energy, by unpredictability, by the experience created in the moment. It is the difference between reading the words of a poem and feeling the heartbeat behind them. The man who understands this does not focus on convincing with facts, He focuses on creating experiences that stir feelings. Consider humor. Laughter bypasses logic and goes straight to the heart. A witty comment, a playful tease, an unexpected observation can light up the atmosphere and shift her entire emotional state. In that instant, she associates you with joy, with levity, with ease. Or think about the power of tension. A well-timed pause, a lingering glance, a deliberate silence can spark curiosity and excitement, pulling her into the moment. These are not logical exchanges, they are emotional triggers. They create memories that anchor you in her mind because they carry a feeling attached to them. The key is presence. To influence emotion, you must be fully immersed in the interaction, attuned not only to what is being said, but to what is being felt. Most men are trapped in their heads, overanalyzing, rehearsing, worrying about the right words. That mental chatter disconnects them from the flow of energy in the moment. A man who's present, however, feels the subtleties, her body language, her shifts in tone, her expressions, and responds fluidly. This responsiveness creates resonance. She feels seen, heard, and understood not on a logical level, but on an emotional one. That resonance builds connection far deeper than words alone. Emotion as leverage is not about manipulation, but about leadership. It is guiding the emotional direction of an interaction rather than being pulled by it. If she is moody or distant and you fall into the same energy, you are following her lead. If she tests you with sarcasm and you react defensively, you are trapped in her frame. But if you stay light, playful, calm, and stable, you shift the emotional dynamic in your favor. You are no longer reacting to her. You are influencing her. The strongest energy always wins. And when your emotional state is grounded and intentional, she will eventually align with it. Women chase men who make them feel alive. That aliveness can take many forms: excitement, mystery, louder curiosity, comfort. But the common thread is emotion. If every interaction is dry, predictable, and logical, there is nothing for her to pursue. Desire is born in the contrast, the highs and lows, the lightness and depth. A man who can bring variety to emotional experience never becomes boring. He can be playful in one moment, intense in the next, serious when it matters, and teasing again to lighten the mood. This unpredictability keeps her engaged because her emotions are constantly stimulated. There is also immense power in creating emotional safety. Many men believe attraction is all about thrill and tension, but without a foundation of safety, thrill becomes exhausting. A man who is emotionally stable, who does not overreact, who remains calm under stress, creates a sense of trust. She can open up, let her guard down, and immerse herself in the connection without fear of judgment. That balance between excitement and safety is what makes her want to return again and again, because she feels both the spark of passion and the reassurance of stability. Emotional influence also extends beyond direct interactions. When you leave her feeling uplifted, curious, or challenged, those emotions echo in her mind long after you are gone. She replays conversations, wonders about your intentions, feels the imprint of your energy. That emotional residue makes her reach out, think about you, chase your presence. Logic rarely compels someone to pursue. Emotion does. The man who leaves behind a trail of feeling is the man who remains unforgettable. Mystery has always been the most powerful fuel for desire, because what cannot be fully understood cannot be easily dismissed. The moment a man reveals everything about himself, the moment he lays out every thought, every plan, every detail of emotions, he strips himself of intrigue. Attraction thrives on uncertainty, on unanswered questions, on the curiosity that lingers in the silence between words. When a woman cannot fully read a man, when his mind and his intentions remain partially hidden, she is drawn deeper, compelled to uncover more. Mystery is not about deception, but about selective revelation, about leaving certain doors closed so that imagination can do its work. When a man speaks too much, overshares, or constantly tries to explain himself, he leaves no space for wonder. Everything is already on the table, and once curiosity dies, pursuit fades with it. But when he offers only glimpses, when he reveals pieces without the full picture, when he allows space for interpretation, the chase begins. She thinks about him after the conversation ends. She analyzes his words. She replays moments. She wonders what he meant and why he said it that way. Her mind becomes a constant investigator, and in that search, her attraction grows. Mystery also creates contrast in a world where most men seek validation through exposure. Many men believe that the more they reveal, the more they will be understood, the more approval they will gain. But the opposite is true. Approval is never earned by being an open book. It is earned by being a story that cannot be fully finished. The man who remains unpredictable, who does not follow the same predictable pattern, stands out. One day he is light and playful. The next he is serious and contemplative. One moment he is fully present, and the next he disappears into his mission without explanation. This unpredictability keeps her mind engaged because she never quite knows where she stands, and that uncertainty pulls her in deeper. There is power in silence. in not responding immediately, in not feeling the need to fill every gap with words. Silence allows her imagination to expand, and imagination always exaggerates reality. She will assume there is more depth, more thought, more meaning behind your restraint, and that assumption alone magnifies your presence. The man who is mysterious does not rush to clarify everything. He allows misunderstanding. He allows curiosity. He allows the unknown to breathe. That restraint is magnetic because it creates a contrast to the loud noise of ordinary men who constantly explain and justify. Mystery is not about pretending or fabricating. It is about cultivating depth. A man who spends time developing himself, learning, building, exploring, naturally becomes mysterious because his life cannot be summed up in a single conversation. He is constantly evolving, and that evolution ensures that she can never fully grasp him. Just when she thinks she has figured him out, he reveals another layer, another dimension, another passion. That endless unfolding keeps her engaged because there is always more to discover. The more she discovers, the more she realizes how much remains hidden, and the more she chases to uncover it. Women are wired to explore emotional puzzles, and a mysterious man presents the ultimate puzzle. His actions are deliberate but not predictable. His words carry weight but do not explain everything. His energy suggests doubt, exposing the full ocean. She feels both challenge and intrigue, never entirely comfortable, yet never wanting to step away. That tension is what keeps attraction alive because it mirrors the essence of romance itself, a journey into the unknown, a constant unveiling that never quite reaches completion. Mystery also creates respect. When you do not hand out every detail of your life, when you do not reveal every thought on command, you show that your inner world has boundaries. You signal that access must be earned, not given freely. That selectivity elevates your value. She realizes that being close to you is not something automatic, but something rare. The effort to get closer becomes meaningful precisely because not everyone is allowed in. Scarcity and mystery combined create the ultimate magnetism. At the heart of mystery is self-control. Most men reveal too much because they fear losing interest. They fear silence. They fear rejection. But the man who embraces mystery does not operate from fear. He knows that what is unsaid often speaks louder than what is said. He understands that distance creates desire. That unanswered questions create intrigue. That layers of depth create chase. He does not hide who he is. He simply does not reveal all of it at once. He lets time, experience, and curiosity pull the truth out in fragments. This pacing keeps her engaged because the story is always unfolding and she becomes addicted to discovering the next chapter. Discipline is the silent force that separates the man who is desired from the man who is disposable. It is not glamorous. It does not scream for attention. Yet it radiates a power that women feel instantly. A man who is ruled by his impulses, who reacts without thought, who chases pleasure at every turn, becomes predictable, weak, and easy to control. But a man who governs himself, who can feel desire yet not be mastered by it, who can experience temptation yet not bow to it, stands apart. That kind of man commands respect because he proves through his actions that he is in control of his world, not enslaved by it. Discipline is what transforms a man from a seeker of approval into the prize himself. The truth is that attraction is never about giving in to every urge. Attraction is about restraint, about delayed gratification, about showing through behavior that your mission is greater than any single distraction. When a woman sees a man who does not jump at every opportunity, who does not cave under every test, she instinctively recognizes strength. She knows she cannot bend him easily. She knows she cannot manipulate his emotions or lead him away from his path with fleeting temptations. This realization flips the dynamic. Instead of her controlling him, she begins to pursue him, testing again and again to see if he truly is as unshakable as he appears. Discipline reveals itself in the way a man manages his time, his energy, his focus. He is not glued to his phone waiting for response. He is not rearranging his priorities at the drop of a hat just to accommodate attention. He has built a life filled with purpose, goals, and structure, and he does not abandon that framework to chase momentary excitement. This level of self-control communicates value because it shows that his life is already full. He is not looking for someone to complete him. He is already complete. If she wants access to him, she must align with that structure rather than distract him from it. That expectation raises his worth in her eyes because it is rare to find a man who lives with such order and certainty. Impulse-driven men fall quickly into the traps of neediness and overinvestment. They react emotionally. They seek constant reassurance. They give too much too soon. Women sense this lack of discipline and lose interest because nothing valuable comes without restraint. What is too easy to obtain is too easy to dismiss. But the disciplined man holds back, not out of fear, but out of strength. He does not reveal everything immediately. He does not rush into commitments without thought. He does not abandon his standards to avoid loneliness. He waits, he observes, he chooses carefully. This patience creates gravity, and gravity is irresistible. Discipline also shapes physical presence. A man who takes care of his health, who maintains his body, who shows consistency in how he presents himself, communicates through silence that he values himself. He does not need to announce it. It is evident in his posture, his energy, his focus. Women instinctively respect a man whose discipline is written into his habits because those habits reflect inner control. They see that he is not swayed by laziness or weakness, and that steadiness becomes a source of attraction. In relationships, discipline manifests as emotional stability. The disciplined man does not lash out in anger when tested. He does not beg when ignored. He does not crumble under pressure. He feels emotions but channels them with control. This steadiness creates a deep sense of security because she knows he is not a slave to his feelings. She can push, withdraw, challenge, yet he remains grounded. That consistency forces her to respect him. And more importantly, it draws her closer because she knows she has found a man whose strength is not temporary but enduring. Discipline also plays in a scarcity. By controlling his impulses, a man does not give unlimited access to his presence or attention. He understands that his energy is valuable, so he distributes it with intention. He is not reckless with his words or his actions. Every move is deliberate, measured, and purposeful. This makes each moment with him feel weightier, more significant, because it is not scattered carelessly. His discipline elevates his value in the same way that rarity elevates treasure. She knows she is experiencing something not every woman gets to touch, and that exclusivity fuels her chase. At the deepest level, discipline is freedom. The man without discipline is chained to his urges, pulled in every direction by external forces. But the disciplined man is free because he controls himself. He does not need to chase validation or surrender to temptation because he knows he is already complete. This freedom radiates as confidence, and confidence is the purest magnetism. Women are drawn to it instinctively because it represents strength, stability, and leadership. The man who embodies discipline becomes the man she cannot easily have, and therefore the man she cannot stop wanting. Would you like me to now take all 6 expanded key points and craft them into a full flowing speech script with a motivational rhythm and transitions?